in one of the hardest hit cities, Eufaula. Brandon, what have you noticed so far this morning?
Well, Chuck, we've noticed that it's really dark here. That's because a lot of people, nearly 5,000 in Barbour County, are still without power. I just checked in with Alabama Power. They're waiting until first light, until the sun starts to come up over here in Eufaula, to really get out and assess the damage, because it's just, let's face it, it's dangerous to do so and be digging around trying to find where these power lines are while it is this dark. I want you to take a look behind me at this tree. This really pulled these power lines down. This tree came out of the ground, pulled these power lines down and began damaging the power poles itself. You can see some of the pieces ripped off of the power poles. Now, what we understand, there's about 45,000 people in Alabama without power right now. About 5,000, a little more than 5,000 of those are here in Barbour County. I spoke with Lauren just a little bit ago to get a better idea of what the winds were like here. Last night at 9 o'clock, we were recording wind speeds just under 40 miles an hour. It could have been higher, but the instrument that we used to measure that was actually knocked out over at the airport, so we don't know exactly what those were, but it was a lot of wind here, so you can see the damage. We're going to go ahead and send things back to you in Columbus. We'll keep you updated from here, reporting live in Eufaula. I'm Brandon Etheridge for News Leader 9 Mornings.
We thank Brandon and Matthew Clegg, our photographer who was with him.
Yes.
Columbus was hit with some strong winds and heavy rains, leaving a few without electricity.
We have Maya Johnson live in the Mobile Alert Center. Maya, what?
Alabama, which was slammed yesterday, but we understand there was a bit of a problem.
Yeah, you made it to, you had to go to Lumpkin, Georgia, where you were actually stuck for a little while. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, guys. We were in Buena Vista. We were trying to get over here to Eufaula for the evening shows late last night, and the wind and the rain was just so bad that myself and photojournalist Matt Clegg, we pulled off in Lumpkin and said, we just can't make it any farther safely, which is what folks were being asked to do, is just stay off those roads. When those storms came through, they packed a punch. I want you to look behind me. These trees and down power lines, there's quite a bit of this across the area. And I want to point out something real quick. You can notice how far we're staying away from this. When you wake up in the morning, you may see some power lines and trees down like this in your area. Stay far away from those. We don't know whether or not these lines are active, if they're hot, if they've been shut off by the power authority. Stay away from these things. They can kill you if you touch them. You do not need to get near these. We're staying far away. We need you to do the same thing this morning. Yesterday, it was stay off the roads. Today, stay away from power lines. Don't touch anything that's near these down power lines. We're running into this across the area. I'm told by police here in Eufaula that there are several spots, especially on these side roads, dealing with this. The main historic drive in downtown, that downtown portion of Eufaula, seems to be doing pretty well today, but it's these side roads where you really have to be worried, and I know there's outages and power lines down across the area, so be very careful as you're out there today. Stay far away from those power lines. We're live this morning in Eufaula. I'm Brandon Etheridge for News Leader 9 Mornings.
Thank you, Brandon. We want to let people know Brandon has not been to sleep yet.
No, he has
been out
not.
there
So
following the
he'll
storm.
have a nice rest when he finally does
Yes,
get settled down. 8 minutes after 6. Etheridge is one of the hardest hit cities. Eufaula.
Brandon, what have you noticed this morning?
Well, let me tell you, Cheryl, we've noticed a lot of power lines down. Actually, just in the last 10 minutes, got an update from Alabama Power. We're sitting at about 5,200 people. That's only about 200 more with power, but about 5,200 without power. And a lot of it is because of things like this. Look at this tree. It is just absolutely massive. Came down right on top of these power lines. And that's not even the worst of it. You come up here, we're tracking up these power lines, and you can see the power poles themselves and these lines are completely compromised. There's going to be a lot of restoration work to be done here in Eufaula over the next few days. We're looking at about 42,000 people still across the state of Alabama that are still without power. It's things like this, guys, that we're seeing across this area. I'm actually told that not too far down the road, we're not able to get there because of the power lines, but not too far down the road, there's actually a trampoline in a tree that was blown when this storm came through. So a lot of damage in this area. Police still asking folks stay off the road if you can, because they are continuing the cleanup process and trying to restore power as safely as possible now that Michael has passed through this area. I'm going to send it back to you. We're reporting live tonight, this morning, in Eufaula. I'm Brandon Etheridge for News Leader 9 Mornings.
Brandon, thank you much.
And he hasn't been to sleep yet.
No,
so
he hasn't.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Indeed. Thank you. Columbus was hit with our time, almost 7 minutes after now. News Leader 9's Brandon Etheridge is in Eufaula this morning. It was hit hard yesterday, but before you made it to the city, we understand you got stuck in Lumpkin, Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. We were in Buena Vista yesterday afternoon. We're trying to make our way here to Eufaula and got stuck in Lumpkin because the wind and the rain was just so bad. We finally made it here to Eufaula this morning. There's about 42,000 people in Alabama without power. About 5,400 of those are here in Barber County, and this is the reason why. These power lines have really taken a beating across the city. You can see right here pieces of the power line completely broken off. The structure of that compromised right now. Crews from Alabama Power, among other electric groups, are going to be out trying to fix these today. Here's why that happened, though. If you come and look over here, if we can pan this way, a massive tree down right here on Hunter Street in front of Phillips Barbecue. Just a very devastating scene right here. Just tons of power lines in these. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you in the studio. We're going to continue to update you on things here in Eufaula. We should have a new update in the next 30 minutes.
Brandon, we thank you.
Over the last 24 hours.
More about the situation there in Lumpkin.
Right now, we're actually seeing some of the most calm weather that we've seen really for the last 2 or so hours that we've been here. Wind has just been blowing so hard, the rain very heavy. Most of this county is completely in the dark. You can look off this way. I mean, we want to be able to show you these trees, just massive trees kind of bending in the wind, but it is so dark here. All the street lights are out. Power outages pretty much across this county. We understand from emergency officials here that they are not expecting any restoration to begin until tomorrow. Also, most of the emergency crews are completely grounded right now because of these high winds. They're not able to respond to calls out of safety for their crews. So it is a very dangerous situation. We understand that trees are continuing to fall across the county and power outages and power lines down as well. We're starting to get some of that wind here again, but I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. We'll keep you updated as conditions continue to change here. Reporting live for News Leader 9, I'm Brandon Etheridge.
All right, Brandon, thank you. Of course, as Derek mentioned, more
Etheridge continues our team coverage. He is live now in Lumpkin. And Brandon, we heard you were headed to East Alabama, but the roads were blocked?
Well, Rosalind, they weren't blocked as we got down. The conditions were just so bad. The wind was kind of rocking us. We were hitting patches of water that just made it super unsafe to be on the road. So, to be able to continue to bring you updates, we stopped here in Lumpkin. And you talked about those power outages, a lot of those here in Stewart County. From what we understand, most of the county right now is in a complete blackout, no power. A lot of that because of downed trees and power lines. I want to show you something just to give you an idea of just how strong some of this wind has been. This is an ashtray right over here that was on the front of the police department way back down the way. And it has been blowing down through this way. Trees, I'm told, are falling across the county. Power lines being compromised as well. We know there's a mandatory curfew in Lumpkin right now that began at 7 and goes until 6 tomorrow. Authorities are telling everyone, stay off the roads. It is completely unsafe to be on the roads. We're sheltered here and staying close to the police station and the fire department. And continuing to get updates from the EMS crews here, but it is a completely unsafe environment to be out on the roads. They continue to tell us more trees are falling across the county, which of course, damages those power lines. And we're seeing a lot of wind and rain. I'm not sure what you can see behind me because of how dark it is, but there's shelters here in the county. They're asking people to stay put right now. It is not safe to be on the roads. They want everyone inside, staying as safe as they can, hunkered down, because we have still a long night ahead of us. Roads and the curfew is not lifted until 6 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully conditions will be a little bit better by then, but I'm told by the police chief that even once that's lifted, they're asking that folks still stay where you are. Do not get out and drive around. Power crews are going to be out working hopefully in the morning because they can't get out in the current weather. It's unsafe for them to do so. Folks are going to be without power for quite a while. So stay where you are, stay put. It is going to be still a long night ahead. We'll continue to keep you updated from here in Lumpkin. I'm Brandon Etheridge for News Leader 9 on Fox 54.
All right, Brandon, you try to go get inside somewhere as well. Thank you for that live report.
We will.
Brandon Etheridge is now in Lumpkin, Georgia, where a mandatory crew is in place. And Brandon, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Roslyn, a curfew went into effect at 7 o'clock here. Folks are being asked to stay off the road. I want you to take a look. I don't know how much you can see. It is very dark. Almost all of Stewart County is without power right now. We're at the Lumpkin Police Department here with their crews, and we were actually traveling from Marion County, where we were when we spoke at 7 o'clock, trying to get to Eufaula, where we know there's a lot of damage, and it was just too bad of conditions on the road. We had to pull over for our safety, and we stayed here at the police department to find shelter. But what I want to do is go inside and talk to the police chief here in Lumpkin. That's Chief John Tyler. He is here with me now to talk about what we're seeing and give me an idea of what we've seen in Lumpkin so far this evening.
We've had a lot of rain, a lot of wind, down trees. The county's had several down trees. One accident that I know of.
And tell me, we know there's tons of people across the state without power. A lot of those here in y'all's area. It'll be a while before the power gets back on for these folks, correct?
I'm sure it will. Richland's also without power at this time.
And tell me, Chief, in the coming hours, this is going to die down a little bit. The sun eventually will start to come back out, but that doesn't necessarily mean the danger is over. What do people need to think about as they're getting back out after some of this storm passes?
We wish everybody would stay in, follow the curfew. These down trees you can't see out there tonight. Maybe just be real careful when you do come out, when the sun comes up, because you don't never know what you're going to run into.
And how long is that curfew in effect here in Lumpkin?
Till 6 a.m.
Till 6 a.m.? Chief, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I hope your crews stay safe out there. We're going to continue to monitor this storm from here. Again, very heavy rain and winds right now. As we continue to get updates, we will pass them along to you. Be very careful and stay inside if you can, as you heard Chief Tyler say right there. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Reporting live from Lumpkin, I'm Brandon Etheridge for News Leader 9 on Fox 54.
All right, Brandon, good information there. Thank you.
Impacts, and our Brandon Etheridge is live in Marion County, where the wind is starting to pick up there, the rain as well. So Brandon, tell us more about what's happening where you are.
Yeah, Barbara, when we talked at 5:30, I said that the rain and the wind was kind of intermittent here for the last probably 20 minutes. It's been pretty consistent. Rain coming down, the wind blowing. You can see that truck back behind me. That's one of the few that we've seen out here. If you look down Broad Street here, you can see the traffic signals starting to kind of sway in the wind a little bit. The trees are beginning to blow some. Now, we understand that across the county there are some areas that are having some difficulties with power right now. I understand that a transformer blew in this area not too long ago. Also, some information from what we've been told from about the EMA here. After the winds get to a certain mile an hour, 35 miles an hour, it's going to be more difficult for those first responders to be able to get to you. So as much as you can do, stay off the roads, stay at home, find a sturdy shelter that you can be in to ride this thing out. No one needs to be on the roads as this thing continues to get worse. The wind and the rain are coming down right now, but it's only going to continue to get worse, like Derek was talking about. So we're going to keep monitoring things here. We'll bring you the latest updates live. I'm going to send it back to you in the studio for now. Reporting live in Marion County, Buena Vista, I'm Brandon Etheridge, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, stay indoors as